Good morning, everybody. I left my drink over on the table, so I have to wing this without it. I've got my glasses on because this is Wednesday. We're going to look at headlines. My tooth is not fixed, and I don't know if it's going to stay in for this whole video. We're going to try. I tried Polident. I've got to get this. I got to get past this home closing. I can't be spending money on anything, especially charge cards or anything like that. So I've got to basically keep things status quo. And I got tired of not being able to smile without my tooth in. So the cap is temporarily glued in. Hopefully it will stay. I've locked the cat up just in case I drop it so that he doesn't go over and eat it. Okay. I'm not going to be eating during this talk. So we're looking at headlines. We are in the end times. There's no denying it. I can't see through these glasses. The things that are happening around the world, the things that we're looking, the headlines, they wouldn't happen any other time. Any other time, God would certainly stop a lot of this stuff. He'd stop the anti-Semitism. He'd basically stay in charge, stay in control. But he's turning the earth over to Satan to run for his 3.5 years anyway. That's all he's get. He doesn't get the full 7. That's the wrath of God, getting the second half, which Jesus gets to run. God doesn't have wrath. He's pure love, so he can't do that. Okay, so these are exciting times for Christians. We know what's coming. We know that we've got a pre-trib rapture. We've got the tribulation time frame. The first half, very exciting. The second half, very terrifying. And there's stuff that's bad in both. So we're going to look at the headlines. Again, I've got Don Stewart up here on my first row of the videos. I'm looking at YouTube. He does his news, breaking news, I think twice a day, if not once a day. I think it's twice. I don't watch both of them because I usually am busy doing my work during the other part. But I do certainly get one of his videos every day. And he's got some books that are online on his page, so you want to check them out. So that's coming. He's got that going on for Tuesday, August 5th, that I'm recording this. Now, I'm recording it early for release on Wednesday. Tomorrow I got to do some running around. I've got a van that's going back and forth, and I don't know what their problem is. I may have to go help them, as long as they're staying in the park. We have a launch coming up of the new Starship, current 137. Remember, the last 2 have not made it. The booster gets it into space, and then it blows up in space. They went to the Block 2 version, the second version of it, and it has not successfully flown yet. It accomplishes stuff, but it's not flying all the way. It's having problems. And they call it a RUD, a Rapid Unplanned Disassembly. Acronyms. And they're going to be changing the way they catch it, I think. It's not going to come back and try to be caught like they've been doing with the booster. And that might end too, because in reality, if they're going to use this rocket to launch and go places, they have to have it come down and land on feet. So they may be switching to that at some point. Okay. One of the guys I like to watch, he's going back again. Who is this? I'm going to see where he goes, and I may have to go run him down. He's like he's looking for somebody or something. He pulled into his campsite, so we must be looking for somebody who's not at their site yet. Oh well, that's part of what I get to do around here, which may be ending soon, by the way. I've got to pay this week my money, upfront money on the house, which is around $1,100. There's two vans, and they're identical. They must be work vans or something, because I thought I was seeing the same person go back and forth, but I'm not. Okay. And they used to, and this one's pulling an empty boat trailer, so they must have put their boat in the water. They're supposed to be draining the dam, and the water's supposed to be going down, but we've been getting rain every day, so it's not going down. So they went ahead and put their boat back in the water, just so long as they don't forget what they're doing. We have another earthquake up in New Jersey, small one. We're finding out that there's some kind of an active volcanic movement under the East Coast. So there could be more earthquakes. Earthquakes in diverse places. It's not normally known for earthquakes on the East Coast. The mountain range, the Appalachians, that's the bottom of a mountain, not the top. If it was the top, it'd be jagged. These are all rolling hills. It's worn down already. The West Coast, you'll want to see new mountains. The Sierras and the Rockies are new mountains. Just go look at the Grand Tetons if you've never seen them. Beautiful. Very sharp, jagged peaks. The House Oversight Committee has issued subpoenas in the Epstein files, which include Clinton's and some other people in there. These are just subpoenas. They're not being arrested. They're being called to testify. Now, you got to be careful with these as bad guys, because you get called in to testify, and then if you answer the same question two different ways, they got you. So I'm sure they're being briefed. One of the problems that the government's got in fighting these bad politicians is these bad politicians, if they're not lawyers, they're connected to other people that are lawyers. A lot of people in government are lawyers. So you can't buffalo them. You've got to have good solid evidence and dot your I's and cross your T's. So stuff is moving along on that. They're still trying to get food into Gaza. There's one organization that's getting food to the people, but I think it was 83% of the UN trucks full of food, they're being hijacked by the Hamas, and that food is being sold at black market prices, very high. And they're making money. They're staying afloat. The UN is keeping them afloat. Most of the Arab countries now are against Hamas, but there's the usual suspects. Iran, Qatar. Qatar, who's been negotiating, has actually been funding the bad guys. So they're negotiating in bad faith. So is that going to get resolved? Netanyahu's supposed to meet Thursday this week with his cabinet, and the idea is we're just going to move in. We're taking over Gaza. We're going to kill everybody that's Hamas, helped Hamas, related to Hamas. We're going to eliminate them. They don't want to do anything to help. Their demands are ridiculous. Let every prisoner that you got that's Arab in jail out. We get to stay in power. We get to keep our arms, and we're going to keep attacking you. But we're willing to negotiate. No, they're not. So we've got that coming up. So the war is going to continue to escalate. And the European countries that have been taken over because they open-bordered their Arab friends to come in, they're losing their countries to the Arabs. They're taking over. They've got a very narrow time to fight back and get their country back. If they don't, there will be Sharia law in Europe. Because this is not the nice guy Arabs. This is the bad guy Arabs. Both of them are wrong, in my opinion, on their religion, but there's a good wrong and a bad wrong, and the bad wrong is spreading like a virus. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. Jonathan Cahn's got another video up. It's coming sooner than expected. Well, we all hope he's right, but let's find out. Dr. Barry earlier today, we are feasting on new wine, which is the blood of the new and everlasting covenant. Right now, this week, August 3rd through 9th. It's the Feast of New Wine with the proper timeline, proper schedule. The Jews don't celebrate this. So he's pointing out that we're in the Feast of New Wine. You have the Feast of First Harvests and First Fruits and stuff. Then later on, you get to celebrate, be part of what's all your hard work. Talking about the asteroid Apophis again, Mondo Gonzalez. What's going on? Anything else? Again, Israel to intensify the war. More stuff from Jonathan Cahn, Jimmy Evans. And I recommend these people when I call them out. The world still wants to fight back, but is unwilling to fight back. That's why movies like John Wick, where he kills everybody. He fights everybody and kills them, and nobody ever gets to him very well. He gets beat up, but he never loses. And that's what the world wants. They want this physical war. They think it's a physical war. They want it to be won by our side. Don't get pulled into that. We're not fighting a physical war. We're fighting a spiritual war. And that can catch you totally off guard if you're not paying attention. The armor of God is not physical. It equates to physical in the examples given, the breastplate of righteousness. But it is a spiritual breastplate. Trump's got more executive orders to sign. John Barnett is, I can't think of his name, and he didn't put it on. He's got multiple channels, so I never know which one to work with. It's John Barnett, Online Teaching, is what it says. Beware of religion, Satan's mini antichrist. He's a very knowledgeable teacher of the Bible. He's been teaching it for years. I wish I could teach it that well, but I can't. God's got me in a very special niche here that I can fit into. I can follow short-term instructions and teach what he wants me to teach. And then I wash it all away, and tomorrow I do it all again. I can do that. But if I don't write it down, like right now, I'm still reading off of the internet. Very appropriate for the day in hand. There's the Beatles video, Revolution. You know, there's two versions of this. There's the slow version. You know you want a revolution. And then there's the da-na-na-na-na-na heavy-duty rock version. They preferred the heavy-duty rock version. The record companies wanted the slow version. So they give them both. And we're happy because we get what we want and they got what they want. And they made money on both. Obama Intel chief could face indictment over Russiagate. We're all looking forward to it. ABC is going to probably be sued again because there's more stuff coming out on what they were doing. The View is put on hiatus because they let these women just say anything they wanted to do. Hatred, death to Trump, whatever they were saying. You know, just total hatred, and hatred of conservatives and Christians. Very, very left, very liberal. Oh, this is a funny one. I'm just pointing out what I'm seeing on YouTube as it's coming up. Foster Books roasts Jackie Gleason. The Dean Martin roasts were very funny, and they were clean. You know, if you get a chance to see those on YouTube, check them out. They're funny. And it's all scripted. These guys are reading off of cue cards or a teleprompter at the other end of the stage, but they're still very funny, and most of them are funny people. And Foster Brooks doesn't drink, but he plays the best drunk you can imagine, where he can't talk and you just, it's very funny. So humor is the best medicine. God invented humor, so don't exclude that. Just make sure that people are clean. And there are clean humorists. A lot of them aren't. Now there's reference to Clintons could be arrested for refusing to testify. Judge Andrew Napolitano. Very, very good judge to listen to. Yeah, so he's become a commentator, but he was a judge. Speaking of arrests, Texas wants to redistrict. Illinois has one that goes down like a snake. It's just very narrow, and it just picks up one goal group, and that's all they wanted. They didn't want anything on either side. Texas has one of those too. It's just very narrow, and they just wanted to pick up the right people. What was that click? I've turned the air off to do this, and I think I've got a bottle down here. Yep. Plastic bottle, changing temperature, clicking. So anyhow, the Democrats left the state of Texas so they didn't have to vote. You have to have a quorum. They don't have to vote positive or negative. It doesn't matter. But if you don't have a quorum, you can't bring the vote up. They believe emphatically that they're going to lose. So they've left the state so they don't have to vote. They will, once the order is made for them to come back, it will start costing them $550 a day to be gone. They're claiming they can arrest them and bring them back. Let's see if they can do that with the lawyers that are up there. And of course, Newsom, the governor of California, who's the gentleman from Colorado, said he's a fake politician. When somebody calls somebody a politician derogatory, he's the poster child for it. He's destroying the state, and they will eventually get rid of him. But right now, he's just he's double downing on everything, and he's standing up against everybody, and he's talking bad, like he's got a lot of power, but he doesn't. If they redistrict California, he says he's going to do it and make it all Democrat. That's against the law. Go ahead and try it. You think you can get away with it? Another, feeling my tooth moving. I got to be careful. Another video to check out. CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. I heard it through the grapevine. One of the longest songs ever. It's like Hey Jude, it just goes on forever, multiple minutes. And that's a good one. This one here has the Raisins singing it. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that. I heard it through the grapevine, so animated raisins are singing it. I hope you enjoy the comedy in that. Hope for Our Times, Tom Hughes. Another one to watch. I don't always get them all up here, so sometimes I miss somebody when I'm doing this. Earthquake was 2.7 in New Jersey. I've got a headline for that. They don't get earthquakes at all. Not on the East Coast, so this is unusual. And they're getting lots of big ones. They had another 7-something off of one of the islands over in that area. It's still happening. The earth is still moving. Volcanoes are erupting. But I saw a picture yesterday. I tried to find it again. I can't. But they showed we've got more earthquakes above 5.0 than ever. So the earth is moving. James Kaddish, I don't know if you've heard him. He's in Hawaii. He teaches there. He's a pastor there. The enemies of Israel are the only ones starving anybody. Talking about Hamas. We're trying to find places where you can get good news. 1440. I recommend them for news. Just Google it, 1440, and you'll find them. We're getting some religious movies out now, which is good. They're not all going to be right perfectly. The Chosen is still the best TV series about Jesus ever. And the guy who plays Jesus is a practicing Catholic. So he's had some, oh my God, what am I doing moments when he's playing Jesus. So check him out. As with everything you see on TV, if it doesn't sound right, look it up. You ought to still look it up. It says Putin loses control. He's having trouble because this war in Ukraine is costing them lives and money, and he won't let it go. He's arrogant. He's the ex-head of KGB, basically, in charge of the country. He's been voted in unanimously for all this time. The elections are rigged. We know that. Nobody will vote against him. Nobody will run against him. They won't live long. They don't actually have to cheat, but nobody will run against him. Another guy I like to watch on here, and this is not religious. I'm doing a mixture here just to let you know what I like to watch. Adam Savage has a program called Tested, where he shows you how they do stuff, build stuff, and things like that. He used to be part of the what was the TV show? Him and Grant Imahara, Mythbusters. They'd see something, somebody make a claim, there'd be some wives' tale, whatever, and they'd try to prove it. And a lot of them they proved possible, but a lot of them they proved impossible. So I like watching those. China's on the verge of seeing a major collapse. China has to keep their business going 100%, throttle to the floor all the time, just to make ends meet. If they shut things down for a week, it'd probably fully collapse. Their money is just, inflation is really bad there. They can't keep things going. Okay, another guy up here, Oliver, I can't remember his first name. Shalom in Messiah Ministries. He's a Christian Jew, and he's interviewing John Haller. The dots are starting to connect, he says. So check him out. Okay, this from 1 hour ago said that the Texas House fails to meet a quorum because there weren't enough Democrats there. So now he said he was going to issue arrest warrants for all of them. Let's see if he does it and if he can win. They've got to come up with the redistricting plan by the end of the year. So they've got some time. It's going to cost them $60,000 a month or something to fight it. But the Democrats, the left, the billionaires funding this could easily fund that indefinitely. They'd fund it for the rest of their term. They could never show up. So Texas can't vote on anything. This is a new tactic. And when they come out and say they've abandoned their post, if they can prove that, they can fire them and force another election for each one of them. Now, it's going to take time. But you've got to fight back. Whenever the Dems come up with a plan, you've got to fight back because they will use that plan indefinitely until it's shot down. Most of the plans they took on against Trump were shot down, but until they did, they kept duplicating it. There were hundreds of lawsuits against Trump. If they're all the same, they can be voted out by the Supreme Court, and then they can't do it again. Trump and Russia are still playing nuclear butt heads. As long as all they do is butt heads, we're okay. Don't let one of them things loose. It won't be good for anybody. J.D. Farag, my God is infinitely bigger than my biggest problem. Yep. Okay, well that's pretty much another rocket launch to go to the space station. They can do that part right. They're just testing this new technology that's never been tested before, so they're missing the mark sometimes. And Musk was a little bit sidetracked when he was put in charge of Doge. But he's had to step down because he's frankly got to pay attention to his job, and people were starting to send him death threats. So he got it started. Now he can back away and let them finish. Okay, well that's pretty much all the stuff I'm seeing right now. Oh, the government's also said that any state who's doing anything against the president, not following the executive orders, not doing what they're supposed to do, being a sanctuary state, giving money to illegals, all the stuff that's been banned now at the executive office level, any state doing that won't get any federal help. If they have a disaster hit, they get no help. Now again, their billionaires are going to bail them out for a little while. So, all right. That's pretty much everything that's going on. We're moving ahead fast with this house buying. I hope that it stays on track, or I hope that it stays on God's track, whatever that is. I'll know when it finishes. I always say God clears the way. Well, it seems the way is cleared, but he could shut the door at the last step. You never know. I was selling a house before, and we had a buyer, pre-approved, all set, going through the paperwork. He's selling his house, and he's making his time frame based on when he sells his house to where he has the money to put down on the new house. And so he sells his house. The day he gets the money, he goes out shopping for a brand new truck, buys it, and then no longer qualifies to buy the house. So his escrow fell through. So we're scrambling now to find a new buyer. And it can go the same way in reverse. I could think everything's going fine and something happened and not be able to qualify, or there may be something they might do an inspection and say, well, it's on an active volcano, you can't sell this lot. I don't know what's going to happen. Only God does. So you just have to trust. The ultimate conclusion was that God will deal with it, whatever the situation. If he wants me in it, I'll be there. If he doesn't, I won't. Okay. That's enough of this. A lot of this stuff is just entertainment, especially watching the Dems squirm. They had complete control for 4 years, and they're squirming now. God's going to put them on the hot seat for a little bit, and then he's going to get us out of here, and then they're going to be back in power. And we'll continue doing exactly what they've been doing. Lying to the people, stealing the money, doing whatever they wanted, and not caring whether people die or not. The World Economic Forum, although Klaus Schwab stepped down, is still out there. And they still have that plan. And we know about the harlot. We know the harlot, the beast, the Antichrist, whatever you want to call all these people out there. They're in the book of Tribulation. And nobody's going to stop them. Nobody's going to come to the defense of Israel when they're attacked by all the surrounding countries, except God. So they won't have a friend in the world, at least willing to stick their neck out. Iran could have led the charge, but they've been neutered pretty effectively. And I don't think the world would really back down from Iran. But Russia's going to lead the next big war, and they are afraid of them. So, tell people, warn people, we're running out of time. Till we meet in the clouds, God bless.